Saturday morning flight sim.
It's not morning, you drongo. It's evening.
Good evening, good day, good night. Welcome to Positive Rate. I ended up appearing right at the start there, whatever. A little bit of Latin rhythm to get you in the mood. We're in Key West, very stormy Key West actually. There's a big tropical storm moving in from the Gulf. I actually got a colleague of mine is flying to Florida tomorrow. I don't know how that's going to go for them. And anyway, I hope you're doing well. No special scenery to show off today, and we're going to get going pretty quickly, actually. Well, there's Nighthawk's just popped in the ATR, which of course shows up in wondrous pink for some reason. But actually, I think if I look at him from inside the airplane, usually it's... Does it look better if it... No, it's still pink. Anyway, welcome Nighthawk. Hope you're doing well. We've got the external power on and got a flight planned to fly today. We're 26,000 feet in the Grand Duke. We're flying to Cancun, so we're going to try and get above these clouds, and hopefully the wind's going to be cooperative. But I'll quickly show you the flight plan here. 2 seconds. Right, so as mentioned, we're taking off runway 09 Key West. There is some pretty heavy winds too. They're about 19 knots, so luckily the winds are just about head on. I think it's about 110, gusting 29 knots though, so hopefully we don't get cut off. It has bled off a little bit. It was looking a lot worse when I first loaded into the sim, but it's looking a little bit better now. So we're going to take off direct to U, or Echo Yankee Whiskey, and we're going to fly straight off to Canoa. We're skirting past the coast of Cuba, so hopefully if we get some good visibility there, we'll get some interesting high-vis or high-altitude visibility of Cuba as we come down into Cancun. Now the approach today is the NOSAT 1B. That's transiting through NOSAT, and then you kind of do a right hook into a left base into Cancun, and we're going to use an ILS approach this time as well, which is something that we haven't done very often in the Black Duke, so that should be quite cool. As I've mentioned, the weather today isn't clever, but hopefully by the time we get to Cancun will be not too bad. So got about 218 kilos of fuel each tank. We need about 341 kilos to get down, so I got a little bit of reserve fuel just in case we get some winds, but we can get that nose baggage door closed. Everything's all packed in there, and passengers are secure, so we'll close that cabin door as well. As mentioned, 26,000 feet today, so we've got a pressurization. If I just show you down there, I've got that set on 26,000. We'll see how we get on with that. And the external power is on at the moment, so what I'm going to do is going to put on the battery. You can take off that external power just to keep everything going. That was just so I could run in the flight plan so we can get a prompt takeoff without... turn that off first. We'll get these guys to give us a wee push out as well. Where do we want to go? I think if you could just kind of park us about there, maybe. That'd be good. That'd be perfect. And then we'll get the engines started up. While we're waiting on him to push, we can get the left. Oh, we got some noises issues here, don't we?
Standing by for pushback.
And we'll get the pre-oiler in.
Go ahead.
And introduce a little bit of fuel to get that fuel running into the left engine.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are off.
Commencing pushback. You can start.
Nighthawk says, "Hi everyone, really positive rate red." I know you are. I know you are. Get a screenshot, Nighthawk. I'll get it up on the stream so everyone can see what you actually look like. It's just there's a terrible rendering issue with the ATR due to the fact that it didn't have a proper paint kit. Which is why I don't ask Dark Fury to paint planes that don't have proper paint kits anymore, because it just ends up being a nightmare, and I don't want him to waste time on something that... He's a bit of a perfectionist, so he likes it to be right. Q&H today.
Completed. Please set your parking brake.
Alright, parking brake is set. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect.
And let's see if that left engine is ready to go. Bit more fuel, maybe? I thought we'd had enough time to Interesting. Okay, let's look at our diagram here. Okay, it definitely don't have any fuel coming in. So why is that? Fuel selector's on. I don't know. That's a weird one. Let's give it even more fuel then. You should see fuel coming up here, but I don't for some reason. Is there anything else we've missed? No, everything's looking okay there. It's because our master avionics is on, perhaps. So. I don't think that makes a big difference. Okay, Mystery, mystery, mystery. Oh, it's definitely on. I have no idea. Oh, you know why? Because my mixture is completely set to lean. That's not going to help. There we go. Now we can see the fuel coming through. Okay, that's a good way to burn out your fuel boost pumps, isn't it? Alright. Silly Willy. Okay, now we can see the fuel is actually coming through. Just about on the verge of entering cylinders, and we should be good to go. Let's get going here. Makes a difference when you actually got the fuel mixture set on, don't you? Okay, bring generators on there, main inverter. Put that away so we can get our pitch trim on now. Let's give panel lights nav, should be on, beacon. Beacon should have actually been on already, but never mind. That seems pretty happy, so we'll bring that back down. Give it another 10 seconds for the right engine to pre-fuel, and we should be good to go. Maybe a bit overzealous. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm going to bring up the fuel. Bring up the throttle a bit. I'm doing everything wrong today. Anyways, I don't know if we have any news today, but I'll try and find some for you once we get up to cruise altitude as per normal. Right. Let's try now. There we go. Right generator on. And we're going to be, well, we'll take it up to 8,000 initially, and then we'll set it for 26 once we're stable. Everything else is looking okay. I was going to check the weather, wasn't I? Let's find that. Back. Flight plan, here we go. Key West. Waypoint info, weather data. QNH is 2985. Go, just about sea level. And pressurization set, we're happy with that. That's all looking good. We will put our pitot heat on because we are going to fly up into some weather, so we want to make sure that we don't have any issues there. Cow flaps are open. Turn that pre-oil off. And the winds... looking a little bit better now. It's kind of settled down to about a steady 15 knots, just about head on to the runway, so that's perfect. Quite happy with that. Runway 9 we're taking off to, taking from, I can't talk today. 093 is our runway heading, so I'll just get that set. Whoop. On our heading bug, just so we can assume runway heading once we take off and kick in the autopilot. Out there. That's perfect. We'll go back to flight plan there. Okay. Ready to rock and roll here. So just do a quick control check. Rudder's looking okay. We can check the outside here. Looking good, looking good. Alright, landing lights, taxi lights can come on, I should say, and let's go taxi out to runway 9. There, I can see your positive rate red now. Look at that. See, it does work inside the cockpit. It's only when you go to external view for some reason that seems to goof up. So there you go. You can see Nighthawk in all his glory. And that ATR 70 looks like 72 you're flying, or is it 42 today, Nighthawk? I think it's 72. We're on runway 9. No special scenery for Key West. I wish I did have scenery actually, because it looks like it's a nice little airport. Relatively expensive to fly to though, because it's not a major destination in America. So I dare say if you want to fly to Key West, you probably have to go to Orlando or Miami first, and then get a connecting flight. What I'm going to do is, I think Nighthawk's going to fly a lot faster than me in that ATR, so I'm going to let him go ahead. Actually, yeah, I'll let Nighthawk go ahead so we can get a drone capture of him taking off, and then we'll just go into a holding pattern over here. And Nighthawk, if you just want to run past me and line up for runway 9, that'd be great. Should see him coming off our side there. There he is. Must be a proximity thing. I think there's like a missing texture for being further away, perhaps. That's what it is. Anyway. I won't poke the bear and ask Dark Fury to try and fix it, because I think he was cursing and swearing when he did the original livery anyway, so... The weather's definitely improving a bit. It was certainly it was a lot of lightning. I don't know if anybody saw it when I was starting up there, but it was quite a bit of lightning. Okay. We'll hold there, and just gonna wait for Nighthawk to take off there. Still hear that wind kind of roaring outside. Big shout out if anybody's watching on stream. Do say hello in the chat. We always like to hear from new viewers, and let us know where in the world you are. I'd be intensely interested if anybody's watching from Mexico, actually, because I don't think I've ever had a Mexican viewer. Well, certainly not that I know of. Stop in and say hello. And of course, you can also join our Discord community. We're very friendly, and we have lots of positive rate liveries for all the different for a variety of different airplanes. Off there goes Nighthawk off into the sky. Okay, so landing lights can come on, and we'll go to recognition and strobe. I don't know if you can see much in the daytime, but yeah, trust me, it's on. Ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Line up runway 9. Everything clear? Well, let's rock and roll. definitely hold that attitude right there. Clicking the autopilot. Flaps can come up. And now we want to bring that airplane around to intercept our path. So we're going to turn, left turn, come back on ourselves, get some views as we're climbing here. Should do. Down there. Key West is beautiful. Don't know how much it would cost to play that golf course. Can't imagine it'd be that cheap. And we'll arm our nav. That nav will sit on arm until we intercept our path on our GPS routing. Big thank you to PMS50 who have graciously given us their GTNX 750X add-on. Fantastic little tool, integrates lovely into all sorts of planes, and it's absolutely invaluable for the Black Square Grandview. And a big thank you to Just Flight again for helping us showcase this awesome twin. Climbing nicely, 4,000 feet. 1,500 feet per minute is a good climb rate for the Duke. Don't really want to go too much higher than that. It can obviously go higher. Let's bring those flaps down a bit. And there we go, the nav is kicked in. The GPS and the GTNX now have control of the airplane. And since we're established, let's set our new cruise altitude of 26,000 feet. .140 knots is what we're trying to aim for here, which I'm struggling to hit at the moment, but it could be winds. I don't know. Actually, the winds wouldn't make a difference. So what we'll do is we'll just take down our pitch just a little bit. See if we can get that sweet spot and get it closer to 140. Heading's not control, but we'll just put Snoopy in the doghouse just in case we have to default to heading control. And I can see Nighthawk climbing nicely. I almost hit 10,000 feet. So obviously he's in a much, and it is the ATR 46. Yeah, there you go. Nighthawk's going to swiftly beat me to the destination here, but that's okay. We are getting a little bit closer to 140, so that's roughly where we want to be. And that is a good climb rate for the Duke. See the pressurization's kicking in now. Don't think we got any icing concerns at the moment. Some lovely cloud formations out there. Storms can do that. once we get up to about 10,000, we'll start to lean out the mixture a bit as well, make the engines a bit more efficient and lower our fuel consumption rate as well. Starting to get a bit of turbulence. It's to be expected. So not a big plane, it does get checked around a little bit. Anyway, I hope the weather's nice where you are. It's been fairly warm in Scotland actually last week or so. Some lovely days out there. Unfortunately, I've been working through most of it and just staring out the window at it. But okay, take those boost pumps off. If it'll let me. There it goes. Leave the cowl flaps open just for the moment. Temperature outside the airplane right now is still 12 degrees, and that is at 8,000 feet. Absolutely incredible. It just shows you how warm it is. And some crazy news. We were, my family and myself were in Greece not long ago. It was quite warm, but we've now since heard that the temperature is averaging 40 degrees centigrade in the shade, which is extremely hot. It's causing a few deaths and sickness as well, so they're warning tourists to be careful. Passing 9,000. Start to lean out that fuel a bit. You can see our fuel flow dropping. Holding a nice steady 1,300 feet per minute climb rate. It's not about getting up as fast as possible, just more for efficiency and fuel consumption. You want to just let it take its time. It'll get there eventually. Not sure if this predicts top of climb or not. Yep, there it is. So our top of climb, you can see a top of climb bar in the GTNX there. And then, of course, once we get to cruise altitude, we'll level this thing out, and we'll see the speed dramatically increase. At the moment, we've only got a ground speed of about 165 knots, but that's going to climb tremendously once we get to cruise. Turn off all our lights now at this point. Recognition lights can come off as well. Just leaves us with the beacon and the strobe. Temperature's a bit warm in the cabin, 23 degrees, so I think we'll probably, well, we'll see what happens once we get higher. That is a little bit warm. Just a little bit on the uncomfortable side. Prop sync can come on. So I said, yeah, well, I'm going to have to go and find some news today, but I'm going to take a quick break to do that. We'll see what's happening in the wonderful world of Flight Simulator. But keep an eye on Gamescom. I think this is the one in Germany. Keep an eye on that. Microsoft is putting on a massive display at Gamescom. Obviously, it's going to be oriented around Xbox, but I'd be absolutely shocked if we don't see some brand new footage for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So do keep an eye on the Gamescom feeds. Microsoft has announced that they're going to be, while they're at Gamescom, broadcasting 50 game streams of playable games while they're at the event. So that's going to be absolutely massive. And that'll be, of course, I would think on their on the Xbox YouTube channel, and probably on Twitch as well. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. There'll definitely be some tidbits for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, which is, I think it's due out in November, roundabouts. Starting to get above those clouds, but you can see there's still quite a high ceiling up there as we approach 14,000. Actually, go back to standard pressure, 2992, so we are at 14,000 now. Starting to close in on our top of climb. I think. I think. Excuse me. Everything else is in the green. Manifold pressure, RPM all looking nice. Fuel flow right down to 90%, or what is, I can't remember what that pph is. Parts per hour, or anyway, it's low. So, which is good. Keeps us nice and efficient. And we got tons of fuel. Just over 70 gallons in each tank, so that's plenty. Can start thinking about closing those cowl flaps now. So, just to give a bit of indicator, I'm going to so you can see the cowl flap will show here. Oh, sorry, close. And if you don't know what that cowl flap is, I'll show you. There we go. That cowl flap is this guy right here, which helps the engine breathe. And you can see I've just closed it on this side. Right engine, close that. Check the temperature outside. It's now minus one degrees centigrade. I'm going to keep an eye on those engines because we might have closed those cowl flaps a bit too soon, but we'll see. I just love the visualization on these things. It's just so cool. Everything's looking all right. We will see a warning and overheat on our EDM gauge there. And it's, you can see now where the temperature is really dropping in the cabin, so we're going to put it on auto heat, and that should bring things back up to normal. Just as I flip that auto heat on, we'll just see if it does nudge up forward. And we're seeing some weather on the weather radar, which is really cool. So we look off there, we should see some cloud, yeah. Just gonna keep an eye on that for a sec to see if we can see that notching upward. Yeah, there we go, 14, so that's it. The auto heat is now kicking in. Okay, and I think we got overheat warning, so I'm gonna open the flaps again. I probably did that too soon. But what I won't open them fully, I'll just open them halfway. Hopefully that'll cool things off a bit. And if it doesn't, we'll blow up the engines, and that's it. Stream over. If you're just joining the stream, welcome. Thank you for supporting Positive Rate. Do hit the like for me. It really helps us. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're at 299 subscribers. I'd love to see that notch over to the 300 mark today. That'd be a lovely gift. And as mentioned, the Discord link to our community is in the chat there, so do join us. And we're just about 19,000 feet. You can see definitely closing into our top climb. Okay, it looks like our overheat warnings come off now, so that's good. But yeah, this is a great way to learn about engines with this visualization. You can really see what's happening. It sounds like we've got a new subscriber, Kevin Jones. Thank you so much for subscribing, mate. Great to have you along. Stellar of you to join the Positive Rate family. Do come in the Discord, mate. Say hello to everybody. And Kevin, that puts us 300 subs. So thank you so much. You are Mr. 300. Very distinguished. See, Nighthawk is. Oh, Nighthawk, you're holding at 16,000, are you? I'm going a lot higher than you then. Okay, we're starting to bleed off a bit, so I'm going to just slow that rate of ascent a little bit. Just to kind of inch it back towards 140 knots. So we're running a little under that, but that's okay. My cruise altitude today, Nighthawk, is 26,000 feet. By rights, I think the ATR flies about 19,000, isn't it? That's kind of where it's happy. But it's usually 24,000 is the recommended cruise for the Duke. But for whatever reason today, I think it's probably to do with winds. The flight plans come out at 26,000, so I'm going to try and get it up to 26,000 and see how we get on. See, our ground speed as we're getting higher has increased to 188 knots. Despite the fact that we're only indicating 120. So it just shows how much of a disparity you can get between your indicated airspeed and your actual airspeed. But then the air is thinner up here as well, so it's not... I think that... Is that right? I think your indicated airspeed reads lower at altitude because the air density is less. And therefore your ground speed becomes more relevant. Which is why we use Mach generally, because Mach is a more useful indication of speed at altitude. Although, in this case, Mach is not particularly useful because we're in a prop, but certainly in jets. And if I'm saying anything wrong, someone point it out to me. Oh, you can see Nighthawk's starting to climb now. Past 22,500 feet. Just about top of climb. And off to our right, or left I should say, the other left, the other right, we should see Cuba. Possibly not because of the clouds. Weather radar's looking nice and clear now, so that's good. We do see a little bit of cumulus up at pretty high, actually. I would say it would be about 30,000 possibly. Might see Cuba as we get a little bit closer en route. See what happens. It's amazing to think too when you see how close Cuba is to Florida. That you know, at one point they were mortal enemies. It's a bad situation to be with a country that's that close. Okay, keep an eye on those engines. We just want to make sure we don't want to let them get too cold. So we'll see what happens. The outside temperature of the aircraft is now minus 20. I would think we'd want to close the flaps at this point. I don't know. They do say though when you're climbing, I think it's when you're climbing you generally do keep them half open because you're not going quick enough for the engines to cool themselves without some sort of ventilation. So what we'll do is wait till we get to the altitude and we should be able to close the flaps at that point. Just approaching 25,000. We'll get up to cruise. I'm just going to break away for a quick comfort break, and we'll get into the news once I get that together. As I mentioned before, if you're just joining us, there's altitude alert kicking in. It's good. As I just mentioned, if you're just joining us, you're new to Positive Rate, please do hit the like and subscribe. It really helps us out. We are very friendly. We love flying airplanes. Big shout out to my entire team. We've got myself, of course, Willy Canuck, and Nick. Nick B is our producer. He puts all the streams together for me. Our liveries are done by Dark Fury. Discord community is administered by Shark Kitty, and our news correspondent is Notelex 2411, also known as Dan, who regularly puts great flight simulator news for the stream week in and week out, and we'll be looking at some of that news today once we get at cruise altitude, which is a Positive Rate tradition. And you can join us in our Discord community. There's a link in the chat already. And there's lots of liveries they can get, the Positive Rate liveries for all sorts of different airplanes. There is a channel in our Discord community, completely free. We have, I'm trying to think of all the different ones. So we, the Just Flight Aero, the Just Flight Warrior, nothing for the Black Square Duke as yet, but all of the PMDG 737 variants, we've got liveries for that. The Fly-by-Wire 320 as a livery, and Fenix 320 as well. And I'm sure I'm forgetting one. I think the Cessna 310, which is from, I can't remember who does that. I know Orbix sells it. And we also have a livery for the Just Flight BAE Hawk, which looks really cool. There's actually a couple of them. There's one that's got red victory stripes on the wings too. Looks really awesome. We tend to focus all of our energy on add-ons that we know are good. We don't really fly any kind of standard default planes. We like authenticity, and we can see that speed is starting to come up, I think, little by little. Yep, cinching now. See if we can get away with closing those flaps, because that's causing this drag. Now we can see our speed starting to climb here. We're indicating just over 150 knots, but ground speed is already past 250. So we are going relatively quick, which is cool. Now, in terms of where we want to be, so we have a top of descent somewhere along here. Just after Walkie, possibly just before NOSAT, we should see a top of descent indicator. So we'll keep an eye on that. And platform altitude is 3,000 feet approaching into Cancun. We are using the, I think it was an OSA 1B approach. Yeah, NOSA 1B. And this will, the GTNX will fly the approach for you. It's really, really awesome. But you do have to manage the altitude yourself. So it tells where you need to be, but you need to set that and control your descent. There's no, and that's mainly because there's no FADEC or anything like that. But no automatic reset control over the altitude. You need to be doing that as you go down. A little bit of Latin tunes there. Okay, we are settling nicely into our cruise, so I will take my comfort break. I'll be right back with you about 2 minutes tops. Do stay tuned, and we'll do some news. get back with you guys. How you doing? Can you see Cuba? Oh no. No, too much cloud. Everything else looks okay. See Nighthawk holding at a smooth 20,000 feet there. And looks like we're just around 170 knots indicates the 272 knots ground speed. Absolutely fantastic. Nighthawk says, I'm at 200 knots, I can't really go any slower. Yeah, no problem. That's alright, I expected you were going to be ahead of me anyway, Nighthawk. It's okay. Just a quick check on our fuel, just under 75 gallons each tank. Plenty to go. And the outside air temperature is just below minus 20, which sounds like that's cold, but I'll tell you what, when you're at 26,000 feet, that's actually pretty warm. Of course, we are getting a little bit closer to the equator. Today, we are landing 12 right as our assigned runway from Simbrief, which also integrates perfectly into the PMS 50. But I've got some news for you. So, shall we kill a bit of time and look at what's happening in the flight sim world? Yes, indeed, we've got a few news articles. I'd say it's a relatively quiet week, but let's see what we got. So we've got FlyX Simulations has just released an add-on for Jersey Airport. This is in the Channel Islands. There have been some add-ons in the past for island airports. I think we looked at a freeware one a while ago, but this is probably a lot more detailed. Very, very had a lot of notoriety rather in World War II. But you can see there's just a couple shots in there. It's looking very nice. It's not a big airport, but it does actually get quite a bit of traffic from, I believe, Ryanair and EasyJet. So you do see jets coming in there. And lovely detail into this Art Deco terminal as well. And I imagine that's not really changed much since the 1930s or the 1920s. So that's lovely. Lovely detailing there. You can see some a notable, I guess, Canacor will be their sponsor, but that looks like probably a neat terminal of some description. So yeah, it's looking pretty good, and that's available from FlyX. BM World, they've released how you say Rus and Burgos V2 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Lovely pictures down there. You can see all the buses. Amazing detailing inside the terminal as well. Very cool. And ooh, I like that. That's kind of neat. Oh, that's one of these solar powered parking bays, isn't it? I think. Maybe they're not all solar powered, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. Cockspur, I love that name, has released the Tipsy Bee. What's the Tipsy Bee, you might ask? Well, it's this. It's a Heritage single prop plane, fixed gear. You can see their tail dragger, and there's a little bit of a background on it. It was a Belgium airplane, actually, 1935, by a guy called Ernst Oscar Tips. Sounds very posh, doesn't it? Ernst Oscar Tips, Esquire. Anyway, that has come out. I'm just seeing if we can see where you can get that. Well, there's another. Some lovely shots there. Very rustic looking airplane, isn't it? That's very bare bones. You can get it on their website, Cockspur website. It is €17. There you go. Aerosoft, bad news for X-Plane guys, I think. I believe it's X-Plane anyway. Aerosoft is discontinuing their Nav Data Pro at the end of this year. It's been going for a decade, but I guess they're just not getting enough business from it anymore. I'm not sure. It was very prominent on FSX and X-Plane 10, and they have brought it to X-Plane 12 and Microsoft Flight Simulator. But yeah, it looks like they're just really struggling to pay for the ongoing maintenance and server costs and things like that. So they've just made a decision that, yeah, unfortunately, they're not bringing in enough money to justify it anymore. So that is going to be a bit of a disappointment for a lot of customers, I would expect. And unfortunately, it's just more bad news. More bad news coming out of Aerosoft. It just seems like there's no end of it lately. Just Flight, they've brought their amazing Aero 3, which made huge waves in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That is now coming for X-Plane 12. So if you're X-Plane 12 and you want a really high fidelity single prop general aviation plane, this is your ticket. It is beautiful in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can't see it being any less beautiful in X-Plane 12, and just look at that. Absolutely stunning. So and they brought their awesome EFB over as well. Looks like that's an upgraded one too. So yeah, if you're X-Plane 12, you're looking for a really, really authentic, high fidelity general aviation tourer, check out Just Flight. They'll definitely have what you're looking for. And also for X-Plane 12, Shared Flight has been released. So this will allow you, as I understand, I think it just allows you to fly together in the same airplane, and allows multiple users to share flights seamlessly. I don't know if this means more than two. Now they do. It is a kind of a package thing, and I think it's because they have servers. Possibly that's the reason. So you can go with your free. You can join someone else who has a basic or premium tier. But if you want to invite someone to fly on your plane, then you're looking at about $8 US a month, which isn't too bad, really, I don't think. And that'll give you at least one co-pilot, or if you want multiple, you can go up to the $15 US a month, and then you can have as many people fly your plane as possible. You can invite all of your friends, and everyone just have a go at trying to crash the airplane. Sounds absolutely fun. But I think, £8 a month for, if it's a high fidelity service and it works great, certainly nothing to complain about, and that is coming out for X-Plane 12. Finally, FlyX has brought out, oh no, we've already talked about Jersey Airport, didn't we? sorry, I don't know if I covered this one. So UK 2000 has released Newquay Airport for Cornwall. This again was another World War II base. I think it just serves kind of regional traffic now. But that's looking really cool, and I love the old buildings that they've still kind of preserved all these years. It really makes you feel the heritage when you walk onto it. Yeah, so generally, Ryanair does fly there, as well as Loganair, as to be expected. Loganair's got a lot of the regional routes, and British Airways. So they probably get flights to London and probably other parts of the UK, possibly even some points in France, maybe in possibly even Amsterdam, I'm not sure. But you can get a nice overview shot, you can see all the detail that they've put in it. It looks really, really cool. And yeah, that's looking swell. Looking really, really nice. So you can check that out. That is available from UK 2000. Don't know if it says where. This is on Sim Market. You can get this in Sim Market for €19. And that's the news today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, let's do a quick position check and see where we are here. We're just about nearing the edge of Cuba. I still don't... Oh! The clouds are cleared! There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Cuba! Havana's over there somewhere. Oh, great. The clouds finally dissipated. We're able to get a view of the land of cigars and decent chocolate, maybe? Very popular destination with Canadian tourists for many, many years. Part of the reason for that is obviously the Americans had Cuba under an embargo for a long, long time. So, you know, if you were American, you couldn't travel there. There was no business allowed there or anything like that. It was, don't touch Cuba. You can't go anywhere near it. Under pain and threat of punishment, imprisonment, etc. However, Canada didn't really have a problem with that. So, a lot of Cuba really wanted to bring themselves up as an international tourist destination. And to be fair, it's got some stunning beaches. It's absolutely an incredible place to visit. So they got a lot of investment from Canadian banks, which really helped Cuba build up all these nice hotels and resorts and things like that. So, and it also became a very popular destination for Canadians because it's relatively close to get to. For a period of time, interestingly though, if you wanted to fly to Cuba from Canada, the United States would not allow the flights to transit American airspace, so they actually had to do kind of like a roundabout off the, I think it would usually be off the East Coast. They'd have to go right out to international waters, basically, and then come back in. This was eventually negotiated some years later, possibly during the Free Trade Agreement, can't remember. So Canadian flights could at least transit American airspace, and that cut down the flight time dramatically. I think from Canada to Cuba, it's probably about 4 hours or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a fantastic place. It has all these old 50s vintage cars, which they just keep repairing and fixing. And the tourists are the locals are extremely friendly. It's considered also a very safe place to visit because there is I don't know if it's changed, but I think it's still the same. There's a death penalty for any tourist or for any local that attacks a tourist. So basically, tourists are considered, the bread and butter for Cuba's income, and generally, it's considered a good place to go with families and things like that. And of course, if you like cigars, there's nowhere better. So yeah, there's Cuba, but we're not going to Cuba. We're going to Mexico, going to Cancun. Also a very popular tourist destination for Canadians and Americans alike. Although you're more likely to get a decent taco in Cancun as opposed to a cigar, I would say. So we're nice and level at 26,000 feet still. 270 knots. Get in. That flight level that we've been assigned is definitely helping us out. The winds are giving us a nice push. Get 11 knot tailwind roughly. But yeah, 270 knots is, we're just screaming along, which is amazing for a plane that's not very big, but immensely powerful. Immensely powerful. And that's just over the halfway mark now, so we're making good time today, guys. Really good time. Now remember, I did say that we had to keep an eye out for our top of descent, so I'm just going to go back to flight plan. And that was after Walkie. So if we go back to our map, Walkie's just there, so we're going to actually start descending shortly after that. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's bring that in a little bit. And we can also check down here. So after Walkie, where's Walkie? 26,000. We want to be about between 22 and 20,000 at NOSAT. And then above 14,000 in Atmos, but or below 14,000 in Atmos, right? So I think probably what we'll do is we'll set 14,000 initially and try and gauge the proper rate of descent to get us into Atmos just under 14,000 feet. Platform feet, of course, will be 3,000. We're going to use the ILS today. Actually, let's look at those charts. So, actually, it's 2,000 platform altitude, 11 miles is where we want to get to. But it's 3,000 minimum safe altitude, I think. So, anyway, the DME, it's course 125, 111.1. So if we go back to our airplane here, we're going to set a course of 125, which is about there, and 111.1, which we can put in right now because we're not using VOR navigation, so we'll just have that ready to go. And once we get that all lined up, the combination of our course and our nav radio tuned into 111.1 allows us to use the approach setting here, and possibly even the GS setting. I'm not sure what that is. Is that glide scope? Can't remember. But we'll figure it out. And that will actually fly the airplane right into the foot of the runway for us. So it's a very well equipped airplane, actually. And once we're picking up on that LS, we possibly might get a DME reading here. I'll try and find out. One thing I'm not sure is if this will do fixes. That's something I'll have to read up on, actually. No, I don't think it does fixes, clever things like that, but anyway. But we'll get 14,000 ready anyway once we pass Walkie. Nighthawk says, my Aerosoft CRJ and Twin Otter have not been updated in years. Yes. Yeah. Going back to Aerosoft, yeah, I know. It really does seem like it's kind of gone into a bit of a decline phase. I mean, I think one thing I can point the finger at is a very key member, a very key senior person within Aerosoft died a few years ago, and I think it caused a bit of a shock, and possibly it's changed the business indefinitely. It's a shame because I have very fond memories of Aerosoft products all through the years, and we don't want to see them disappear. We want Aerosoft to do well, but just with the lack of updates, the fact that Twin Otter was pulled from the marketplace, it was very rough around the edges when it came out, and now the closure of the nav data, it's just not looking that great for Aerosoft, and of course we haven't heard any more about the Aerosoft Airbus 330. So I do send out my best wishes to Aerosoft, the entire team. I had the good fortune a couple of years ago to interview Winfried Diekman, who is the CEO of Aerosoft, on Sky Blue Radio. Lovely guy, absolutely lovely guy, and we really hit it off. Had a great conversation, on and off and on the radio. But that was before the senior person in the company, not Winfried, had passed away. So I just don't know what's happening. Obviously, there was a key departure as well. One of their primary add-on architects has jumped ship to PMDG. So yeah, it's just a shame. And J-Hog says afternoon, J-Hog. I hope you're doing well. Great to see you, mate. Just enjoying the Latin feeling. But I shouldn't dance. If you want me to dance properly, you gotta donate. And there's a link to that in the show notes. Well, you can click on this giddy over here as well. It helps us pay for our Epidemic Sound license, because as you know, this lovely Latin music that in the background is not possible without donations from viewers such as yourselves supporting the Positive Rate family. So thank you very much. And we're completely non-profit, so actually, if anything, negative profit. So I definitely shell out a lot more of my money than we take in for donations. J-Hawk says, I'm good, Willie. Just about to get dragged out again. Oh, that's good. It sounds like she's feeling better then. Of course, best wishes to your Mrs. J-Hawk. Hope she's doing okay. You should take her out dancing. Is there any Latin jazz places around there, J-Hawk? Just get your dancing shoes on. I'll be right back with you guys. Just kind of pop away for a second. Okay, I'm back. That was fun. Okay, just about to pass up. Was it Murky? Mupkey. Then on to Walkie. And after Walkie, then we'll be starting our descent. Jayhawks have been digging in the garden all morning. Ooh. Did you find any treasure? And Jayhawk says she's a lot better, referring to his wife. They removed some scarring from her spine when they did her last injection, and she's a lot better since that. Oh, that's fantastic news. Great. No, that's really good news. Really good news, Jayhawk. I'm so glad. That's so. It sounds like that scarring must have been the thing that was really causing her problems then. That's good. So she's getting a little bit more quality of life now. Enough to say, you! Look, we're going shopping. Let's go. As they say in Scotland, get your goonie on. Okay, we're now on the way to Walkie. Still see Cuba out there? Yep, just the tail bit of Cuba there. Oh, there's more Cuba. See some of those lovely blue water coastal lines as well. Jayhawk says, catch you later. Have a good flight. Bye all. Jayhawk, all the best to you, sir. Report for your husbandly duties. Wow, it's really cold in this airplane. Why is it so cold in the airplane? Tell you what, let's look at our handy dandy little I mean, we could put the vent blower to high maybe. Don't know if that's gonna make a big difference. But yeah, they'll definitely be feeling a bit cold, I would think. Brrr, very cold. Again, something I need to read up on, I think. Don't want the blower, definitely don't want that. Ambient air, so that air is showing cold, to be fair. Cabin pressure, yeah. Let's crank it right up, let's see what happens. Maybe the engines are just too cold, I don't know. Don't know how to fix that. What if we go to manual heat? Back to normal. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything warm coming into the cabin. It's a mystery. I mean, no one's going to die. They'll just have to put a coat on. Nighthawk says, Aerosif last A330 update was June 21st, 2024. Yeah. But the 330 project is also subsidized by the German government. Oh yeah, of course it is. Which is a bit suspicious, to be honest with you. It's a very weird thing for the government to subsidize, isn't it? Alright, well, I know that that temperature is going to come up as we get closer to the ground anyway, so I'll just put the blower on, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Engines are doing well, though, that's the main thing. They're not going to crash. It's just a little bit uncomfortable. Anyway. Probably because we're very high as well, I don't know. We might be out of the operating range of the heat. Since we're flying at 26,000. We're zooming into Walkie, so we're going to start our descent. We want to be about 22,000, around below 22,000 at NOSAT. And I'll show you how we're going to approach that. You can see Nighthawk's already beginning his descent. Should be 2992. Put it to put it to the wrong one. Matt Dude. We're gonna start seeing some interesting gamer tags. Okay. Right, so we're going to switch to attitude control. Take the altitude hold off. We might see the altitude float a bit here. And what we're going to do is add a little bit of down trim. Or forward trim, I should say. Bring it about 1,000 feet per minute down. Back up. Just about there. And the plane's going to start speeding up, so we just want to back off the throttles just a little. But if we hold it around 180, that's completely fine. And at the moment, we got a ripping ground speed of 280 knots. So I don't think I think the block time was a bit inaccurate for SimMarket, or SimBrief, because SimBrief was saying it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm like, it can't be that long. And it's, of course, it's nowhere near it, because we've only been in the air about, I don't know, maybe an hour 10 minutes or something like that. Okay, we'll start to see that coming down. The airspeed is holding nicely, so that's quite happy with where that throttle position is. And we'll be checking this. This is currently our DME gauge is set to N1. Once that springs to life, then we'll know that we're picking up the ILS beacon. Attention passengers, we have begun our descent into Cancun. I'd like to thank you for flying Positive Rate Air and hope you've had a pleasant journey. Approximately 20 minutes away from landing. Temperature in Cancun today is 24 degrees centigrade, very comfortable temperature, and very little wind today as well. Winds will be picking up later in the day with some scattered cloud. If you need any help getting to your destination today, once we arrive in Cancun, please do let the attendant know on the apron. We can provide you some instructions on your transit options to your hotel or destination. Okay, so remember what I said. We wanted to be below 22,000 at NOSAP. Currently just about to hit 23,000, so I think that 1,000 feet per minute is probably bang on. I might just give it one little forward notch of pitch there. And what we're aiming to do is have a gradual descent, but the restrictions or the constraints that are shown in the flight plan will give you a rough idea of where you need to be. So again, by the time we get to Apmus, which is up here, we want to be below 14,000 feet. As we get closer to the ground, we're going to watch that temperature gauge, which you can't quite see, but I'll come to the side here, which is now starting to climb up. So as soon as we get up to 0, we're going to want to open up those cowl flaps that I spoke about. That's these guys right here, these flaps. Oh, I think I saw a bit of lightning there, actually. Take a look at that weather report again, actually. So it's only 7 miles visibility, so there must be a bit of... Let's say it's clear, though. Might be hazy. It could be possibly smog pollution. However, our dew point... So it's 24 degrees, but the dew point's at 24, so it could be on the verge of rain. Isolated, so it looks like there is thunderstorms there, but it's isolated. Oh yeah, we might get some interesting weather as we're coming down here. Okay. 21,000 as we approach NOSAT, so that's pretty much spot on. We got to be above 20 though, so we don't want to blow that. And then after, we need to be below 20,000 by the time we get to Hacho. So it looks like we might slow our descent a little bit there, because I think we're just about to hit that 20,000. So I'm just going to bring up the pitch a little bit, maybe not so much. One down, just so we stay within our constraints. See our ground speed starting to slow down a bit as we get closer and the air gets thicker. Woo. Well, there was definitely thunder down there. Did you see it? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a boat down there at the moment, that's for sure. So we passed 20,000 now. Macho again, the constraints for Macho are below 20 and above 18. So I think we're going to blow that, so we need to slow our descent down a bit. Or Hacho. Did I say Macho? Macho. Macho man. Hacho. Hacho. There's no constraint at lettuce. But there is a constraint that we got to be below 14,000 in atmos, so I think we're really going to speed up that descent once we get past Macho there. Hacho. I keep saying Macho. Can't help it. Excuse me. Okay. Just gotta go grab something, guys. Be right back. Okay, back with you guys. Right, now, so this is going to get interesting. We have to be above 18,000 when we hit Macho, but after that, we got to drop to below 14,000 at atmos. So this is really going to increase our descent rate quite significantly. So what we're going to do is probably drop that to about 2,000, possibly 2,500, right back off the throttles, so the airplane doesn't get too quick. Just gonna have to slow that descent even more. Again, these constraints are in just to keep the traffic flowing in an orderly way. Matt Dude, there's Matt Dude. If you're going to name yourself, make it interesting. What's this? WCJ29? Come on. Be more creative, mate. You might be using a flight number or something, I don't know. And see, we're already up to 20 degrees now. Turn the auto cool on because I think it's going to start getting warm. Go to the cabin. Yeah, you can see cooling now. Don't want it to drop too much though. It just shows how much difference altitude can make in terms of the airplane cooling up. Yeah, it's getting too hot, so I'm just going to turn that off for the moment. We just finally warmed the passengers up, now we're trying to make them frigid again. See, it's dropping again. Alright, put on auto heat. Auto heat. Maybe I'm still too high up, that's why. What's the temperature outside now? Minus 7, minus 8, 6, roughly. Okay, we are past Hacha, so we really need to step up this descent now. So we're gonna let's set up for 2,000 feet per minute. We're gonna see that speed increase, so while that is coming in, we're just gonna back off the throttle just a little bit more. Remember, we want to be below 14,000 by the time we hit Atmos. Even more still. Just watching that indicator airspeed. Okay, it's starting to stabilize now, so that's fine. We should be okay at that. Actually, probably too aggressive. We probably drop that to bring up the pitch a bit, give it about 1,500 feet per minute, maybe. Actually, and we could probably slow that even further. I think 2,000 feet per minute might have been a bit ambitious. These are the wonderful things that flight computers can do for you, but when you're in a plane like this, you need to work it out yourself. And it's easy to do. It's just a matter of monitoring. So I'm going to bring that down to 3,000 actually. We are manually flying the constraints at the moment, so I don't need to just slow a little bit there. Not quite at Atmos yet. Not even past Leftist. Mind you, we don't actually have to do that. I mean, we just need to be below 14,000. So actually, if we want, we can probably leave it at 1,000 feet per minute. Our next constraint, we got to be above 8,000 at UN 500, or above 8, and then above 6,000. So you can see there's a gradual descent with a floor that we have to be, but we have to be at 3,000 dead on at RNAV, which is what we got set. So we'll just keep applying those constraints. Oh, Nighthawk's disappeared. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. I see him. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be arriving in Cancun shortly. We do ask at this time that you pack any of your laptops or other personal belongings away and safely secure. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened as we approach our destination. Thank you. Okay, and we're now below 14,000. That's fine, completely fine, but we cannot drop below 8 until we get past UN 500. Probably increase the throttles a little bit. We're getting a little slow. Don't need to be that slow. Once we get down to about 10,000, I'm going to start bringing the fuel mixture up again. Get our landing lights on so that we're nice and visible. Recognition lights as well. And at this point, we probably want to think about opening the flaps, or the cowl flaps, but the engines are not running hot at the moment because we've got them throttled back. Cabin's nice, comfortable, 21 degrees centigrade as well. All we can see is clouds and water. Not making use of my wing views today, am I? There you go. Start to see, not sure if that's Mexico or if that's an island before Mexico, actually. Let's look at the, oh no, it is Mexico, yeah. Is that? Yeah, it is Mexico. Yeah, so Cancun is just up in front of us there. And we can see some isolated thunder, or lightning, as was indicated. I do want to get it closer to 8,000. I think we're okay at the moment. I'll just keep that pace of descent. What we do need to check, however, and we are technically below the transition altitude in this part of the world, so we do need to set our altimeter, which is 2989. There we go. Night Hockey must be well into his approach now. So we're basically, if you look at that, we're going to make a right turn along there, hook around, and then come in for runway 12 right in Cancun, which I think is just around there somewhere, roughly. Well, actually, it'll be right where that WCJ-29 guy's sitting there in this Airbus 330-900. Must be a headwinds fan, I would think. Makes you wish you had your own plane, doesn't it? See the pressurization is dropping as well, nicely. 10,000 feet, we'll get the landing lights on. And the recognition lights. And then we're going to bring our mixture up to full. As I mentioned, we're aiming for 8,000 before we hit that UN 500. It looks like we're well on track for that. That's looking pretty good pace. I think a few adjustments here and there, but for the most part, the controlled descent's been relatively spot on. And just to mention, we are going to be flying an ILS for this, which is 111.1 at a course of 125. I mean, these aren't as precise, obviously, as the ones that you dial in on airliners, but they don't have to be dead accurate. I mean, as long as it's roughly close to the runway, because there's no such thing as autoland or anything like that. But the objective of the ILS is to get you close to the runway, and then once you can see it, then it's up to you to land the airplane. Now, remember what I said before? We had our DME set for N1, Navigation 1 radio. And that's now sprung to life. So we are now picking up that ILS DME frequency, and we can see that it's giving us an indication we're closing on Cancun currently at 182 knots, and it's just over 20 nautical miles away. 7 minutes, there you go. So obviously we got to fly that approach first, but yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what I haven't done yet, though. Let's put it in our approach. Low procedure. Approach was ILS. Ooh, what was this now? ILS 2. ILS 12 right 2 is the one we want. Transition. That's a good question as well. No Viv. That's what it is. Is no Viv on there? Yes, it is. There we go. There we go. So that's now, if we zoom in. So this, our initial approach was out to Redug here, and then now we've got the Nova approach for 12 right into into Cancun. Nifty, huh? 8,000 feet, right? We're gonna slow our descent there. Almost to nothing. Until we make our right turn. Excuse me. Frog in my throat. Probably give a little bit more throttle. And we can open those cowl flaps as well. I just hate that it takes so long to open them, that's the problem. There we go. Okay, we're just about to make our turn here. Yep, there we go. Speed up our descent a bit more now. We want to be above 6,000 before the next waypoint. Yeah, 6,000. And then 5,000. I'm getting a lovely look of the city of Cancun. It's a big place. Nighthawks landed. There's the airport. Look at that water. Look at that water, guys. Descent's looking okay so far. I need to cough for a sec. Give me a sec. Okay. Increase our rate of descent just a little bit. after UN 515, we can drop to 3,000 and hold, which we've got set in our altitude. So that'll kick in automatically. See the, oh, there we go. You can see the airport there. Taking some lovely views of the city of Cancun. Look at the size of it. It's not huge, but it's, well, it's pretty big. Pretty big. It's not a small place, we'll say that. There's certainly bigger cities, but very popular tourist destination. Okay, we're still above 5,000 as demanded by UN 500, but as soon as we pass that, which we have now, we can drop to 3,000, no problem. And we're well on track to do that, so I don't really need to make any adjustments. Until we get past D2970. Where's that? Right, this one. Once we get past that, then we can drop to a platform altitude of 2,000. Pick up the ILS for runway 12 right into Cancun. And I think this is probably the first time that I've actually demonstrated a proper precision approach with the PMS-50 GTNX 750. So there you go. Huge shout out to Pierre. If you're watching, listening, hope you're doing well. And Stu, as usual, dropped in right at last minute. Hi, Stu. Hi, all, he says. How are you? Hope you're doing okay. We're just in the middle of a precision approach into Cancun with the Black Square Grand Duke. Some lush ground over here. Nice. You always think you don't think of Mexican as a green place, really, do you? Yeah, but it certainly does have its fair share. Yeah, there's an altitude alert kicking in, 3,000 feet. So we'll hold that until, was it 2,000 we had to be at? Just check. Yeah, 3,000 up until that point, and then we can drop to 2,000, so that's fine. Yeah, no, you got messages, it's fine. You're fine, that's good. AMCH47, not sure what you're trying to say to me, mate. You're flying a helicopter, is that what you're saying? Okay, probably put a taxi light on here as well. Actually, no, we don't need that yet until we line up. What I'm currently not seeing is any indication of the... Mind you, we're off beam of the ILS at the moment, I think, but I should see that moving. I'm not seeing that move yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Not sure how it works with an ILS actually on this one. I mean, there's a Cancun There's a Cancun VOR as well, 113.6. That'll at least point us towards the airport. There we go. So that gives us an indication of where the airport is anyway. But I should be seeing this needle start to break up a bit, so that's why I'm wondering what's happening there. Okay, we're turning our base. And we can start prepping for landing. So fuel boost pumps on. Flaps, cowl flaps are open. Mixture's full. Weather is, well, winds rather are 0 apparently, which I don't know if that's actually true to life or if that's just what's happening in the moment. So remember, once we get past Delta 2970, we want to drop to 2000. So I'm gonna dial that in. We'll see if we can see Stu buzzing around there somewhere. Yep, there he is. He is in a helicopter, yeah. It's a very long approach in, isn't it? Okay. Approaching the end of our base, about to turn left for our final. Into runway 12 right. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to scoot straight away once we get down, guys, so I'm not going to have much of a time to wrap up. I'm just basically going to park the airplane, thank everybody, and off I go. Unfortunately, I got some family obligations that I need to jump on to, so. Oh, okay, we can see our ILS is now coming alive there. So we can arm our approach, in theory. Don't know if that's going to come on or not. So want to seem to. Oh no, because I got to switch to V-lock. Sorry. No. No. It's all gone wrong, guys. It's all gone wrong. Alright, well, since we're flying heading, I'll just leave it on V-lock then for the moment. I should be able to put approach in here. I'm not sure why that's not working. Doesn't seem to be activating at all. Huh. Missing some critical detail. Oh, maybe I have to be in nav mode first. That's why it's probably got to be locked in. So nav is your kind of localizer. Basically be the same as localizer. Oh, it won't go approach probably because I don't have a scope, glide scope. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So let's increase the angle. And we should be descending. Your approach didn't work either? I've not flown the ATR in a while? Yeah, that's fine. I'm kind of breaking the approach a bit because I'm deviating from this angle in course, but it's probably for noise abatement. But I've got nav armed, so once I pick up the... Okay, now we have a glide scope, so I should be able to arm the approach as well, actually. But I don't need to do it just yet. So we're heading down to our platform altitude 2000. I was getting a little bit panicky there, so I probably made some rash decisions that I didn't really need to. I could have just, taken a deep breath, step back. We know the glide scopes can be roughly around there. Or sorry, the localizer anyway. And we can see that that's there. We can also see indication that the glide scope's being picked up as well. So currently I just have nav armed, so this is only going to do the localization at the moment because we're holding 2,000 feet. And that was the thing I forgot, is you had to flip it into V-lock as opposed to GPS. Otherwise they'll just ignore you. Okay, the airplane has now picked up the localizer. We're turning in course. So at this point, I'm going to slow the plane down a little bit to about 130 knots, and we'll get the first stage of flaps out. Maybe even further than that. In terms of capturing our glide scope, it's this needle here that we're watching. We see that if we see that start to drop, then we can arm the approach. But we want to get our flaps out and speed down a bit long before we do that. So we need to be about 100. I think it's about 130 knots for the first flaps deploy speed. That's good. So the first flaps are out. Bring that throttle back in now, and we'll bring props to full. Flaps are giving us a little bit of extra drag. Let's see, slight crosswind here because we're crabbing a little bit as the plane uses the localizer to track us into Cancun. And that crabbing is also slightly visible with the VOR pointing at Cancun there. You can see it's slightly off our nose to the right. Okay, still don't see that glide scope intercept yet. We are 8.6 miles out at 2,000 feet, so that seems reasonable. And it is very hazy. I dare say that's probably pollution. I'm just keeping an eye on this needle. Once it starts floating down, which I can see it's starting to do, I'll arm the approach, and that will control our descent once the NEO reaches the middle, and we'll get our gear out as well. Want to stay above blue line when we're, just in case you ever see a blue line, above blue line, if someone says that, you don't want to drop below the blue line when you're approaching. It's only when you're starting to flare for your landing. Okay, glide scope's just about center. We should see that altitude starting to come down. There it is. Drop our gear. And we'll bring in full flaps. There you go. See that? Just a little bit more throttle. Taxi lights can come on now, just to keep us above blue line, because we got so much drag on the airplane now, so you really need to bring those throttles up to compensate. And you can see our attitude lights flashing. The reason for that is it says the attitude was armed, but the glide scope has now taken over pitch control of the airplane. You can tell why this RLS is important in days like this, because remember how we said there was only 7 statute miles or nautical miles visibility? That's because of this haze, and this is just pollution, but we do have visual on the runway now. But everything is ready. Our flaps are down, our gear is down, our speed is good, plane is on track. I mean, it's really just a matter of letting the autopilot take us right up to the runway, and then we can go into manual. But everything's all nicely configured, and that's one of the things you want to do. You want to get everything settled in, you know, right away. Okay, a little bit of wind gust there. That's fine. Still a bit hazy. I mean, I can see the runway. I could probably go into manual right now, but I'll just let the autopilot take us a little bit further. Okay, pretty happy now. I've got control. Looking at something else there for a sec. Here we go. Just keep control of the airplane, Willy. There we go. We'll go throttle. Winds are definitely calming off now. It makes it very easy. Looking at that touchdown zone now. And now we're just looking at the horizon. Looking at the horizon. Looking at the horizon. Looking at the horizon. Looking at that horizon. Come on airplane. Can't get much sweeter than that. Try and make that high speed, but I don't think we're going to. No. Just going a little bit quick. A little bit quick. When's our next turn off? Oh, perfect. I know you're in a helicopter, but you definitely don't look like one. Go find Nighthawk there. Okay, we can put flaps up. Landing lights can come off. Stroke can come off. Welcome to Cancun, everybody. No special scenery to show you today, just a nice flight in a part of the world that we don't fly very often. But definitely probably my best demonstration of the PMS-50 GTN 750 precision approach into Cancun with ILS. So you can see there's a mode switch there between GPS and VLOC as you're getting close. Really showing the best of the GTN 750 and also the best of the Black Square Grand Duke. Huge thank you to Just Flight and PMS-50 for helping us showcase. There you go, you're back in your beautiful positive rate red. Excellent. Okay, that's probably good. I think we'll park there. Oh, what a long day. Okay, everything's good. We can just kill engines there. That generator can come off. All these pumps can come off. And battery. And then everyone can get out. And we'll put all our stuff on here. Well, we don't want to cover the engine yet. There we go. Whoa! How's that? Okay. Yeah. Everybody's coming off the airplane now. Nice soft landing there. Minus 26 feet per minute. If you really take your time and you don't care about runway length, you can really get it down nice and cozy. Huge thank you to Nighthawk for escorting us all the way. Really appreciate it, mate. And we'll see you next week right here on Positive Rate. Until then, I'm your host, Willy Canuck, wishing you a fantastic weekend. Take care.